Mike.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any kind of emotional attachment to some of your properties?
Hey man, where do you go when you want to learn all about real estate and you need to learn the secrets all about that and how to build your empire? Where do you go? I'll tell you where I go. I go from broke to millions, from broketomillions.com, where you can learn the audio book is coming
out
probably
very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Let's just say very
soon.
soon. 30 days or less.
Yep.
The audio book.
I'm tired of listening to Mike's voice.
Yeah, you get to hear my voice.
Listening to Mike's voice.
Let me give you an example. Chapter 3, How to Build an Empire. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I will answer the question, how I went from one house in an 8-unit building to more than 1,000 apartment units. And more importantly, what I learned along the way. Again, I share my story not to brag because my success took a lot of hard work and honestly, a little bit of luck. I share it because I hope that some of you will learn from my story, at least be inspired to preserve and endure with real estate investing, especially when times are tough. Here's part of my story. I bought a 28-unit in a war zone. After my 8-unit acquisition, I did a couple of smaller deals. One of them was a 2-family apartment building I bought from the same tax credit investment group I told you about in chapter 2. The next bigger deal came along, and like all deals, it appeared as work. I'm telling you. Now, doing real estate is simple, but it takes work. It takes time. It was a 28-unit building. Well, it was actually 4 properties in one block in Over the Rhine. If you don't know where Over the Rhine is in Cincinnati, Over the Rhine is prime time. But it wasn't prime time when I was there. At the time, the particular part of Overtor was an F area war zone, but it was gentrified. The problem with the property was that out of the 28 units, only 4 were occupied. It needed work. The owner of the property wanted me to fix the units and told me that if I wanted the property, I could buy it. He told me he didn't have any money to fix the units. Good thing though, he was smart enough to put aside money in reserves and it was still performing. Anyway, to make a long story short, I used the $16,000 in reserves to fix some of the units. Now, I don't know about you, but that was some money to me. I ain't got no money.
I do have 16,000.
But I do have 16 in reserves.
That's too small. That's not money for me.
Boy, I used all that money to fix that joint up. I did the work myself, flooring, painting. Talk about being hands-on. Now, I did bring some people in, but for the most part, I was doing work. I was literally pouring sweat into this property. How to turn a problem property into gold. I realized early on that leasing the property was going to be a problem if I marketed and tried to get tenants the conventional way. So I spoke again to the lady who worked for an agency which leased my 8-unit building. However, she told me her agency did not have any money in their budget, but I didn't let that discourage. I spoke with other agencies focused on AIDS, the homeless, Section 8 housing. I finally found an agency that was willing to provide subsidy to the tenants. I'll keep this one close to my chest, but as soon as I fixed the unit, I leased it. And I did it several times until I got the building from 14% occupancy to 85% occupancy. The owner of the building asked me again if I wanted the property, and this time I said yes. I knew that even with it now being 85% occupied, he still wanted to sell. Managing a property in the F area is no joke. Good Lord. Jesus. Let me say Jesus. If y'all ever managed an F property, I don't know how I did that stuff. I was just hungry, man.
Someone once said that if you have an F property and you don't know what you're doing, you're F'd up.
Hey man, that was pretty good. Hey man, I'm sitting, but that's the truth. Yeah. Hey man, you the psychologist.
Yeah.
You the negotiator. You the enforcer. Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
You will have anger management issues. When you own a property in an F area. Yep.
Man.
Been there, done that.
It's a full-time job. It takes a lot of work. We agreed on the price of $140. I paid a mere $5,000 a door. So I called my private lender. He lent me $170,000 out of his IRA, to be exact. I kept $30,000 as reserves. The deal was so good that it took only four tenants that paid their rent. I was able to cover debt service. After all, I netted $30,000 a year. That was my cash flow. Then I cashed out and traded up. One of the downsides of owning a property in the F area is that it took so much time, I couldn't do anything else. Yeah, that's what I tell you. I managed to do 2 or 3 flips per year, allowing me to make a total of about $75,000 a year. The word spread around Cincinnati that I was the guy who could stomach and manage these properties in war zones. So investors left and right were begging me to manage their buildings. I hired and trained some of the people, and together we were able to manage 150 units for other investors. My personal income increased to $100,000 a year. Oh, that was so sweet. I was like, I'm balling. I'm 6-figure.
Nice.
6-figure. Remember that $28 billion over the run? The previous owner of the building had told me that he would buy the building back from me after a few years. For years, I had passed since I took it over, and he was true to his word. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and we didn't even negotiate. My sale price of $280 was double what I paid. Some of you might ask why I would sell a cash machine like that. 2 reasons. I wanted to grow. I needed to trade up. I needed a bigger property in a better area so I could do more deals. And then the downturn of 2008 happened. I knew I had a lot of cash in my war chest to be able to build my empire. It was a win-win for the previous owner, seller, to buy the 28 unit because OTR was gentrified, and I was sure he would be able to sell it for maybe even double what he bought it for. Man, that was the real deal, man. Like it was perfect timing, man. Like that 2008, the Great Recession. I had cash. I had cashed my investor out. Like and I got another investor at that time. We were killing it in 2008.
Nice.
I thought COVID was going to be like that.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any kind of emotional attachment to some of your properties?
No attachment except for one, but I lived there. I had a house in Bellevue and Coreyville, because this was a house I was kind of like dreaming about when I grew up, and it just kind of fell in my lap. Like I used to go to, I went to school in Clifton, and so and even driving there every day, you'll see all these old Victorian houses.
Tell the story.
Yeah, and so that I lived there, and it was my first rehab, and it was not the first house, but it was my first personal own house that I bought when I came out of being broke. So it meant a lot. Like, it was my house, it was big. I had these goals that I was like, I'm gonna own a 3,000 square foot house. End up owning multiple houses, 3,000 square feet. Like, these were goals like coming to life. So that house was important. But the other ones, no. Somebody come to me like, hey man, you want to sell? How much you want? What you got? Everything for sale. I don't turn nothing down but my collar.
So do you still own that property?
Mm-hmm. I sold it. I got some good money off of it. I made money off of that house about 3 or 4
This one
times.
property, I just had an emotional attachment. You still got it? Nah, man. Let that go. Let that go.
But it took me a while to sell it though, man. I had multiple people asking.
Really?
And then finally I was like, I'm never moving back here. I don't want to rent it. Like, it was over by the university, and so it's a different type of renting, a different type of market. Like, you can actually get more renting to college students. But I didn't have the knack. I'm just used to renting to one person and managing that. And so these college guys, that in the area, like, I think he rented like each bedroom $500-$600. So where I would only get probably, I think I was getting 2,000.
Possibly broke it up into units and like rehabbed it into units and.
No, I mean, it was a big house. It was like 5 or 6 bedrooms with 5 or 6 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms.
Oh yeah, that's a big house.
2-3 full bathrooms or 2.5 full bath, but it was a big house. And man, dude ended up getting like $3,000 a month or something for it.
Nice.
Like, he was killing it. I was only getting like 18, 22. No, I mean, it just worked out. Like, you can have it, bro.